Today, I'm making for you a classic dish, Pasta Fagioli. It's a rainy, kind of chilly day here in New Jersey. You know, I'm a teacher by trade, so we have off today because it is fall recess. And so I thought I would make a nice, warm, comforting bowl of Pasta Fagioli. Now, Pasta Fagioli, this is just my version of it, but Pasta Fagioli really means pasta and beans. So it's any soup where you have, you know, a combination of a small pasta, we're gonna use a ditalini today, and some beans, whether it's Great Northern beans, cannellini beans, which is what we're gonna use. But let's just jump right into the recipe. So what I have in here is and this is a 6-quart Dutch oven, okay? I have a pound of pork sausage, and I just diced it up into small bite-sized pieces, and then I had it going here with no olive oil, added into the Dutch oven. You don't need it because there's a lot of fat in the sausage. So I just browned it right in here on medium heat and continue to kind of break it up with this nifty little wooden kind of spatula. Okay, so feel free to take your aggression out from the day on your sausage. Okay, and you want to get it so it's cooked through, and then you're going to remove it into a bowl lined with a paper towel just to kind of soak up the rest of that grease, and we're going to add in some of our vegetables. So next up, we're going to add in some carrot and onion. The base of any good soup really is that trilogy of onion, carrot, and celery. We're going to skip the celery this time, but we are going to be adding in something green at the end, and this is kind of my little spin on Pasta Fagioli. We're going to add in some fresh sliced zucchini. So for now, all you need is 1 carrot sliced into little half moons and 1 small onion diced. And we're going to throw it right in to that sausage fat we have down here. Okay. Scrape up all that brown stuff. That's the good stuff. Some leftover from the sausage. Okay. You're going to let that sit for like 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Get nice and soft. If you want, you can add a little salt and pepper at this point just to kind of get the onion to start softening. Just a little sprinkle. But we are going to add more salt in just a little bit. Oh my gosh, that smells so good already. I don't know about you guys, but I love soup. And we're in the perfect weather for soup. Alright, you guys, so that looks pretty good. The onion looks nice and soft. So now we're going to go in and add 2 cloves of garlic that I already minced up, ready to go. Okay, right over top of that onion and carrot. And we're going to stir that up. Let it saute for another 30 seconds. To about a minute, right? Really get it mixed in there. You don't want the garlic to hit the bottom of the pan and start to brown too much, okay? So only about 30 more seconds. And then we're gonna add in a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juice. 6 to 8 cups of chicken broth. I like buying this big guy that's 48 ounces because you don't even have to measure. You know, you're just going to throw the entire thing in. And then we're going to add some spices. Another little check. Hopefully you guys can see. I'm holding you with one hand and I'm making a soup with the other. Okay. That smells awesome. I know we're ready for the tomatoes. So in go the diced tomatoes. Mix that all up. Oh, I wish you guys could smell it. And this is going to bring the temperature of your Dutch oven down immediately. So I'm still over medium heat here. And in goes the chicken broth. You can absolutely use a homemade broth if that's what you prefer. But this is just as good and a little more simple. Okay? And then we're gonna add in some spices. In here, I have a teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 bay leaf, about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. So that's gonna go right down into our soup. And we're gonna mix this up. Now the next thing we're gonna add is some cannellini beans, okay? You need to rinse and drain an entire 15-ounce can of cannellini beans. So after they're drained and rinsed, it'll look like this. But you're only gonna add in about just a little over half. Okay, you're gonna reserve this, because what we're going to do is we're going to puree it a little bit. We're gonna, well, not puree, but smush it up with a fork. Okay, we're gonna take a little broth from the soup, mix it with these leftover beans. We're gonna smush it up, and then we're gonna add it to the soup and stir it in, and that's gonna help to thicken our soup a little bit. So for right now, let's just give this a nice little stir, okay? And we'll get to the next step, which is pureeing our beans. Okay, you guys, so I took the leftover beans we had in the orange colander, and I just threw it in the bowl that I had the onion and carrots in, because why get more dishes dirty than we need to? And I took a ladle, and I took a little bit of that chicken broth out of the Dutch oven, out of our soup, and added it to the beans. And now I'm just taking a fork, there's no fancy tools here, and I'm just smushing the beans into that broth to kind of give it like that pureed look. Okay, and the reason we do this is because we're gonna put it into the soup when we add the sausage, and it's going to help thicken that broth just a little bit. There's a lot of natural starches in beans and you know, things like potatoes and those kinds of vegetables. So anytime you add a potato or a bean, if you puree some of it up, it's a natural thickener, okay? You don't have to go like too crazy. Okay, but just get it to look kind of like the consistency of baby food. All right, I think that's pretty good. Now we're gonna head back over to the soup, and we're gonna throw this in, and you're not even going to be able to really see it, because it's just gonna kind of melt away. Give that a little stir. Oh yeah. And now we're gonna add in all that glorious sausage that we have draining over here. Oh, goes right into the soup. Careful not to splash yourself. Okay, and you see all that grease and fat we kind of took off the sausage just by draining it for a couple of minutes. So, now we have the beans, the sausage, the diced tomatoes, the chicken broth, the onion, the carrot, our spices, that fresh garlic, and all we're gonna do is cover the pot, and we're just gonna let this simmer on a low heat, gentle simmer, for about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, so at this point you are not adding in any pasta. You can, if you wish, put in a Parmesan cheese rind. I like to do that because it gives the soup a little extra flavor. So let me show you. Here is my Parmesan cheese. I already diced it up. I like to keep it in my fridge for this very reason, in little pieces like this. This is part of the rind, and you can see that waxy kind of edge there. And if you look at it this way, you can kind of see a difference in the color. It goes from like dark to light, okay? So we're gonna just throw that into the soup. What? Yep, it's going in. It's gonna take a little bath. And it's gonna help flavor the soup. In addition, I'm gonna grate in about a tablespoon or so more of fresh Parmesan. And then we're gonna cover it and let it simmer, like I said, for 30 to 45 minutes. And then you have a choice. You can kind of fish around for it and pull it back out. It's gonna be much, softer than this and kind of look like the consistency of like mozzarella cheese at that point. Or you can leave it in and play the game that I like to do with my family. Whoever gets served the cheese rind is the winner of what, I don't know, but that's how we do it here in the Narrow House. So I'm gonna cover this up, let it simmer, and then we'll check on back. All right, so it's been just over 30 minutes. You can see I have that little simmer going on here. And as the soup was cooking, I did come over and check it, maybe about once every 10 minutes. Stirred it around, make sure to scrape the bottom. And it smells so good, you guys. Oh my God, I could just take a facial in this. Oh, that's the good stuff. So now it's time to add the pasta. All right, here we have a cup of ditalini. And you're just going to evenly distribute that into your nice pot of soup. And then I use one of these microplanes, okay? And I'm going to grate some of my Parmesan cheese right over the top. Not because I'm holding the phone, I pre-did that. So I have about a tablespoon in here, okay? And it's just gonna melt away into that warm, luscious, full of veggies and beans soup we have here. You could see how that pureed beans we added thickened that broth for us just enough. Okay, just give it a nice stir. Keep it over low heat. And then we're gonna cover it back up for another 10 to 15 minutes and let that cup of pasta we put in soften and get nice and tender. Okay, you guys, so the pasta is nice and tender, and I went ahead and I added in my zucchini. That's my secret ingredient, and I kind of cut it into quarters, and then I slice it so it makes these little kind of like triangle pieces. Okay, but you can cut it really however you want. And you're just gonna let that simmer in here for maybe about another 5 to 10 minutes just to get that zucchini to soften. I add this in at the very end because it softens rather quickly and we don't want it to be mush, okay? We want it to still have some bite. Now, you probably have never seen a pasta fagioli soup with zucchini, and I honestly don't know what possessed me to try this out, but I love the combination of colors. The green makes it look really pretty, and to me, it's kind of like a combo of like a vegetable soup and a pasta fagioli, and there's nothing wrong with getting a little more vegetables in. So I think it just gives the soup a little something extra, and my family seems to really enjoy it. Of course, if you're not a big zucchini fan, you could always omit it and eat it just as is, but I think it really makes a difference. Okay, once you have it all ready to go, obviously you're gonna serve it warm, and you're going to top it with some more freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Oh my gosh, you guys. I just can't wait to dive right in. Look at how beautiful. And the great thing about this is it saves and reheats really well. So you can bring it for lunch tomorrow. You can make it the night before. Okay, we're gonna add a little more fresh Parmesan right on top. And that's it. That's my pasta fagioli. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you tried the recipe and how you like it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Bye.